Well, juggling motherhood, a busy career, keeping everyone happy on the home front, challenging doesn't even begin to describe it. If you need some guidance and encouragement, Jessica Turner, a mom of 3, marketing exec, and a popular blogger, has a new book out, and she's helping all of us stretched too thin mamas live a better and more balanced life. It is great to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I really enjoyed reading the book, and I kept thinking when my children were little, I wish I'd had this, because I think so many of us suffer from mom guilt, don't we?
We do, and we suffer from feeling overwhelmed and wanting to do everything well. I know in my own story, I work full-time outside the home and have 3 kids, and I remember at the end of my daughter's kindergarten year, she came home with a worksheet and she wrote her 4 favorite memories from the year, and one said daddy. And oh gosh, I just immediately started crying, and I was like, what am I doing? And then my husband said, you're being a great mom, and she is not going to forget that you were also there, even though, you know, she was 5 and daddy had been there last week, so daddy's who she drew about.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to fall into that trap of guilting ourselves.
Absolutely, and comparing to what everyone else is doing, and comparing, I think, other people's highlight reels to your own real mess, you know, thanks to social media. So we've got to stop doing that to ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. One concept that I really enjoyed in the book, I'd never heard named like this before, was mental load. What do you mean by that, and how do we deal with it?
Sure. So mental load is the invisible job of remembering and noticing. So it's, oh, I need to get light bulbs. Oh, we're out of diapers. Oh, we need to get those flu shots. All of those things that moms have going in their heads. That invisible job is a real job. And so I think the biggest way to combat it is to voice it and to ask for help. You know, like if you're married, you can ask your spouse, hey, can you help me out by going and getting the kids to their flu shots, you know, and saying, hey, this is an area that I'm struggling with. Can we do something to change that?
Yeah. Well, another concept I really enjoyed was the idea of keeping glass balls in the air. What are glass balls?
Yeah, so well, you're always juggling, right? And when we think of juggling, we think of, I think, often the red rubber balls that clowns will juggle. But there's 2 kinds of balls we're juggling. There's the rubber balls and there's the glass balls. And those glass balls are the things that if we drop them, they'll crack and eventually they will break. And those are the things like our own health and our self-care, ourselves, our kids, our spouses, our other family members. And then things like house, even work, those types of things are rubber balls, right? Whereas if you drop them, they will bounce back and they'll look exactly the same. And so it's a change in thinking of what are the glass balls in my life and what are the rubber balls.
Yeah, you mentioned self-care. That's last on the list for most moms because we're taking care of everybody else.
Right.
How do you make that a priority?
You have to say, I matter, I'm important, and put it right on the calendar like everything else, and not cancel on yourself. Say, I am important. I need to take care of my body. I need to get enough sleep. It isn't worth sacrificing your health to get one more thing done.
Yeah. And the one more thing that seems to be a real issue for a lot of people is just managing the home.
Yes.
What can you let go?
I think you can let go of pretty much everything, you know, like the kitchen doesn't have to be perfect 100% of the time. The laundry doesn't have to be done 100% of the time. And so sometimes I'll say, you know what, I'm just going to leave the dishes to the morning and I'm going to go take a long bath and get to bed on time because those dishes will still be there, but I need to take care of myself. So, you know, I think you can let go of a lot of things. And I think also being comfortable with good enough is a really important philosophy.
Yeah. And working on your marriage too. That's another thing that tends to take a back seat when you have kids.
It absolutely does. You know, I think for a lot of women, they feel like when they get to the end of the day of work and kids and managing their homes and baths and homework and all the things, it can feel really overwhelming to then invest in one more person and that being your spouse. But, you know, hopefully our kids are going to leave someday, right? And all you're going to be left with is your spouse. So making time for date nights and pouring into one another is really important.
It's a lot of encouragement in this book, a lot of really helpful ways that you can not feel like you're stretched too thin. Thank you so much.
Meryl, thanks so much.
Appreciate it. It was fun to have you here. All right, you can learn more and meet Jessica at Parnassus in Green Hills tomorrow night at her book signing. It's happening at 6:30 p.m. Hope you'll go out and get the book and learn more.